Good evening, dandies. Welcome to Undetermined, the podcast.
It's been 50 years
50 years.
Wow.
since they were in the Super. So not in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So barely.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that I've known for years, and he's from KC. He's back there, a guy named David George.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
he wrote the song that they played when they scored a touchdown a couple of years ago.
Oh, the Kansas City I Love You or whatever
Yeah,
that was.
exactly. He wrote that. Yeah,
Oh,
but he
cool.
used to be my roommate, and we've been in different. I played bass for him for a little bit, and it's a good guy. Good guy. I'm sure
So
he's
you got
totally
some
stoked.
you got some good connections here then.
Yeah,
Cool.
I do. There and the Hurricane, and Everclear just played a show in Wantagh, New York, and Don Jameson was hosting it. The guy, the metal guy, and
Mhm.
I've known Don since I was in the band the X's. That was in
Oh, yeah.
early 2000s, and I met him in Kansas City because him and Johnny Blaze, they had some kind of on some station there. I forget which one it was, but we hung out there, and of course he didn't remember me.
Yeah.
But it was cool to catch up.
Final
Well,
score.
good.
Final score was
Yeah.
24-35. So,
Yep.
Wow.
yeah.
Dang, I wish I would have saw that.
Yeah.
wish I
Oh,
saw that.
I'm sure you will catch lots of highlights if you want to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mahomes is just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's a
crazy.
badass. Yep.
Yeah,
Tough
he's
kid.
great.
All right. So, hey, yeah, since we're so terrible at introductions, let's go ahead and get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Who are we talking to tonight? You want to introduce yourself? You want us to introduce you? Or?
Oh, no, I can introduce myself.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. This is Freddy Herrera. I'm bass player for Everclear. And
Yay.
yeah.
Finish your statement. I cut you off. I got really excited.
Yeah,
Pre-celebration.
no, that's good. Thank you guys for having me on. It's going to be fun.
Oh, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on. But yeah, we were just talking about. Well, I was just saying you also not just the bass player. You were telling me the other night too that you're the tour manager as well. Is that right?
I just started wearing that hat. And it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was feeling for you. I was like,
I'll bet.
Yeah, I had been asked to do it years ago in the other band, the X's. We had some management, and they had other baby bands. I was like, no way.
Uh-huh.
It's hard enough dealing with guys that know the ropes.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not hard dealing with the guys, just dealing with the venues and the promoters and stuff there.
Right.
And I don't even think it's on purpose. It's just communication is just key to doing that. And sometimes people are just a little lax on getting back to each other and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But over and all, yeah, it's great. I get to play music and be out on the road and stuff. It's fun. It's damn. I'm definitely grateful and definitely blessed.
Well, if you're looking to expand, we know some really awesome bands that are looking for management. So
yeah, I think I'm going to pass on that.
It's hard enough
dealing with my band
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Are you finding that hard to? I mean, not just the workload, but are you having a hard time like switching hats? Because it's like performing, you got to be in a different mindset. You turn on the character, you turn on the, not that it's act necessarily to be who you are, but you know what I mean?
Well, you definitely turn into a different person when you go on stage. At least I do. I mean, that performing mode and everything. But as far as like being hard to switch those hats, not really. I think it actually is helpful to me because they don't want to tell me no because I'm in the band, So I think it kind of helps. They want me to be happy.
Yeah.
So but I would never abuse it. But I think I definitely get some favors done for us that I don't know if I would get normally.
Well, yeah,
that's good.
Are there ever occasions where like they don't recognize that you're also in the band and they start like bitching about bands and stuff like that?
I just started doing it at the end of November, so it hasn't come up yet.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be funny. Usually they recognize me.
I guess so. Yeah, they probably would. Don't have to go like, as long as I don't have to talk to the bass player, man. Those guys are prima donnas. I tell you what.
Yeah. Exactly. Now we're really lucky, man. The guys in Everclear, it's a great bunch of guys. I'm so stoked to play with those guys, And I've been with Art for 10 years, but I've known them since 2003.
I was just going to ask you how you hooked up with them, how it kind of came up.
Well, we were like my other band was the XCs, and we were on Virgin. We were playing in 2002. We're playing this Christmas show, a festival kind of thing for DC 101 in DC, and Everclear was headlining. So Art was there early, and he saw us play, and he came down right after we were done. We were actually packing up. He's like, "Man, I love your band. I want to take you guys out on tour." And we're like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that was our first big tour. And that was in 2003. I think it was for that was a while. It was at least a couple month tour, if I remember right. And at the end of that tour, he was going to start making changes. So he asked me to join. Yeah. He asked me if I'd be interested in joining back then in 2003.
Right.
And man, I was flattered, but I was like, well, the XCs, I was the singer and I started it, and I was like, I got to see it through.
Right.
I got to see it through. So I think he respected that I didn't just jump ship. As soon as I got a better offer. So we just stayed in touch, and in 2009, I knew the XCs were kind of running out of steam, so I gave him a call to see if he knew of any other bands, because he had a bass player, and I knew it.
Yeah.
But I asked if he knew of any other bands, and he said, me. I guess I just fired his bass player that day.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's
kind of karmic timing.
Great. Yeah, it was great. It's great. Not for the old bass player, but it was good for me.
Right.
But the guy, it was funny because I like to tease him, because I was like, we're such good friends, but you still made me audition. I said to go and play with some guys, because he would change all the guys in the band once again. It was all new guys besides him. But and we made it work, man, and it's good. I really enjoy being around him and the other guys. We have a lot of fun.
He seems to have kind of an infectious energy.
Oh yeah. He's the hardest working dude. I cannot believe it, because I wear a couple hats. He wears about 10. He really, but he learned the hard way to do stuff. He got kind of screwed by other business managers and stuff. So he kind of does a lot of the stuff himself just to watch what's going on.
I'm supposed to give you a shout out and a hello from Adam Casto from Nerd Table. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says he's very grateful once again for everything you've done for him.
Yeah, man, he's the only guy that ever got me to sing some lead. Yeah, he just it's just like he's such a cool guy.
He really is
such a cool guy, and I love his stuff, and I love his approach to recording and everything. I was like, heck yeah! He's like, because when we first talked about it, he was like, okay, I want you to play on this. I'm like, all right, well, send me the stuff. And I figured that he wanted me to play bass on it. He's like, no, man, you sing backups and stuff. I think you can sing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it was a lot of fun. I'll reserve the compliments or adulations of how I sang to whoever hears it, whether they want to say that or not.
Well, he's got a monster lineup of people that he's worked with.
Yeah.
Well, he's a really talented artist. On top of that, he did our logo for us.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I love the fact that he just reaches out to people and he gets turned down, but a lot of people just say, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it."
Yeah, it really we're kind of common souls with that, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, it's great. I mean, you can't know unless you ask.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to gain the nickname. It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I think the good thing about that too, social media in a lot of ways, it's
Yeah.
we go back and forth talking to some guests about how, well, it's kind of spread music out all over the place, and it's made it sort of a hit or miss thing with like the algorithm and whether or not it strikes right. But as far as like getting a hold of people or like communicating, you cut out so many of those middle. Like I don't have to write to a record label, talk to somebody. I don't have to, if they've got the right account, you just message them, and they can ignore it. They can say no, thank you. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Or try and go through those annoying tour managers.
Yeah,
those guys are the
exactly.
worst.
Yeah. When I get those things, and I have gotten a few of those things. Hey, let's do this and that. I was like, dude, anything you want like that, and you gotta talk to management. They think that I'm just gonna make those decisions, and I'm not. For something like that, you got to talk to management. But usually, if we can do it, and Art is so good. I learned a lot from Art because he is a very cool with his fans. He really, really appreciates it, and not that I never didn't. I've always been very outgoing to people, but he really walks. He goes that extra mile for people all the time. I think it's great. I think it's great. That's why he's still around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's now, okay. So you said you're going back to the X's. That's right. So where did you grow up? Now he's out of Portland, but where are you out of? Where did you come up there?
Well, actually, he grew up in Santa Monica, California.
Oh, did he? Okay, so the band's just out of Portland.
Yeah. He started the band in Portland, but he grew up in Santa Monica till I don't know his teens or maybe 20s. I think 20s.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Riverside, California.
Riverside. Okay.
Yeah, which is about 60 miles south of LA.
Okay.
And never really. I always loved music, but
okay,
I was really bitten by the skateboard bug.
Yeah,
and that's what I was doing until my buddies that I skateboarded with, they wanted to start a band, and they're like, we want you to be the bass player. We're gonna get you the equipment. Of course, I thought, well, it's never gonna happen. But they found me a bass, and we started playing, and I couldn't get it, man. I just didn't. It didn't click. So I put it down. Like, sorry guys, I gave it a shot, but I can't do this. And then they came back at me after about a month, and I'm like, just try it again. And it's so weird. It just started clicking. And that, and I was already 17. So, and that was it for skateboarding because I was in contests and stuff and won different things. Yeah.
For skating, competition skating.
Yeah. But that was it, man. And I was off to the races and just from here to there and, different bands. And I was in a signed band before the X's in like early 90s called Eden. And the singer was Don Everly's son.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Great, talented guy, super talented. And we did a record for Hollywood Records, and then that didn't work out. So we kind of went our own ways, and I played in a disco cover band for about 5 years. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun with the wig and, getting dressed up and doing dance moves and everything. It was, for a bass player, it was a great learning experience to learn how to play that way.
Yeah, the disco, you'll learn your chops playing bass.
Yeah, I really did. But it was starting to, I was in it for about 5 years, but towards the end, it was just killing my soul.
Yeah.
Because making a lot of money. The crowds were huge. We were selling out, these huge bars. Like we'd play like 3 or 4 times a week. We were doing like Hollywood rap parties and all this crazy stuff. And I really wanted to do my own stuff. It was killing me.
Yeah.
And so I just took the chance and quit that and just started writing and was in a few bands. And then one of those bands morphed into the X's.
Yeah.
And then Everclear, and then now I'm here talking to you guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Made it all the way here.
Yeah, I know. This is it. It's all downhill from here.
Pinnacle.
I really hope this isn't your pinnacle. I really do.
Hey, man.
For your sake.
I'd be happy with it. It's all good.
So what did you skate? Did you skate pipe? Did you skate street? What was your
Well, I'm old enough. I'm 55. So I was skating all the first concrete parks, like Pipeline and Del Mar, the ranch. The ranch in Colton, California was my home park.
Yeah.
But yeah, I skated all those things skated with Tony Hawk for years. He was only like, I don't know, 10 or 12, and he was already killing it.
Yeah. So you were there for kind of the birth of the scene. That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, the second one, not the Tony Alvas and Jay Adams. That was before me. Right. But when it came back around again, when they were actually making skateboard parks, that was those were some of the contests I won. I was actually, Tony Hawk's dad started this amateur skateboarding program, and every week for about 2 months, you'd go to a different skateboard park in Southern California, and everybody you'd sign up and you'd compete like 15 to 17, 13 to 15, and all these different things. And you do bowls and freestyle and all these things. And the year that I quit skating was the year that I finally won my division, and I had a free pass to go to any skateboard park I wanted at any time for as long as I wanted. Never used it once, man. Never used it once.
Wow.
I was so into playing music, the bass.
Well, and that's interesting. Well, I mean, I had a similar. Of course, I wasn't in California where had all the access to that, but I was a skater too as a kid, and like I joined my first band. I was really young. I was like, like 12 or 13. It's like, we can play punk because anybody can play that. We thought, we were terrible. We didn't even have a distortion pedal, I don't think, between we're playing like all this shit. Like we're trying to play fast and crunchy, but it's all sounds clean.
It's not going to work.
Family, just hammering
Yeah. I remember being at practice doing that stuff and going, it doesn't sound like the record.
There's a reason.
Exactly.
But it's interesting how like skating is like one of those sports though that incorporates, or engulfs a lot of things like art, and it engulfs a lot of things like music.
Oh yeah.
That was a big part of everything that we did. I mean, it wasn't just skating; it was listening to the Sex Pistols in 7 seconds, and
Dead Kennedys. Dead Kennedys and everybody else.
Black Flag and all that. So we really emulated that. Of course, we were stuck in the Midwest and didn't have access to a lot of it unless we, ordered it through a zine or something that we, got passed on from friends who like moved out there.
Sure.
Yeah, those were good times. But that's interesting how it was, and it also makes me think how it was sort of a similar situation where you didn't care if there was a dude in your class who could play really well. If he didn't fit in the family, you didn't want him in the band. You know what I mean? It was more about,
exactly.
It's more about having your friends in there and teaching.
Right.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of like that's how you ended up in a band too. Like, I can't play, but my friends want me.
Yeah. They gave me a shot. And they weren't that great either. The one guitar player that kind of helped me, showed me some things. He was like the best one of us all. But I remember I kind of went into it just like, because they were so serious, and I was like, this is going to be just something fun to do or whatever. But once we started, man, that was it, man. I was the most serious one out of them all. I was very, very driven to do something with music.
Cool. So when did you get to a point where you could like quit the square jobs and say, this is it. This is what I can do for a living now?
That happened in 92. And that's a weird thing. So I was still living in Riverside, which is, like I said, about 60 miles south of LA. But I was playing in bands out in Hollywood. So I was driving back and forth every day, working all day, coming home, sleeping for about an hour, and then driving out for practice, coming back home, sleeping for about 3 hours, then going to work every day. So finally I said, screw it. A friend of mine found me a room, or he had a room and he was leaving or something. Anyways, I got into it, and got a job at this audio company. I was working like at shipping and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. It was a good job. And, I was still doing music. I went out to play in this band, but I knew it wasn't really going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking for other things, and that's how I met Eden Everly. But right after I met him, was at the job, and we were just sitting there, talking or whatever. All of a sudden, these 4 guys walk into my area and say, "Grab your stuff, you got to get out." I'm like, "Who the hell are you guys?" And they're like, "We're the IRS." I guess the owner had been embezzling.
Oh, wow.
And they just came in. It was crazy, man. Talk about a well-oiled machine. They were in there, and this is a pretty big office and warehouse and everything.
Wow.
They went in there with enough guys where they changed all the locks, got everybody out of the building in like 10 minutes. It was crazy. Yeah. It's like, this must be what it was like, Gestapo or something. It was crazy.
Just got to force your hand then.
Yeah. Well, I was very into it, and we were already, he had been getting money from Geffen to do demos. So we kind of lived off that for a while, and then unemployment. And finally we got signed to Hollywood. So that was good. But once again, just super lucky being in the right place at the right time for me.
Just such a side note. Did the embezzlement dude pay well?
He did. That was one of the highest, probably the best and highest paying regular job I ever had.
We know why.
Yeah. I don't even know what happened to him. Everybody kind of disappeared, but he was like, we were like supplying like stuff to the studios in LA when there was tons. There was a studio. You could throw a rock and hit a studio in the valley, and that's where we were. And he was just making crazy money, just millions. It's like, man, you got to still embezzle, even though but he had the young wife and, cars and everything. He was trying to live up that life.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of money to be made off of musicians and stuff back then and audio. But yeah. How was that transition? I mean, as far as like the modern industry goes today and streaming platforms, looking for music and downloads and shit like that.
Yeah.
Is it
it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I don't know. I always have kids come up and ask me, like, how do you do it? How do you get to the point where you get signed? And I'm be honest, I have no idea, man.
Yeah.
No idea. I don't know if you need to have a record company anymore. Just put out stuff yourself.
Right.
And then that's usually what they do. They wait until a band puts out something and then sees how well it's selling. If they think it'll starting to catch, then the record companies will swoop in, buy you, and then put it out because it's already sold enough to where they know they're going to at least make their money back.
Yeah.
Right.
But as far as like Everclear, I think the last record we did was in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
That was Black is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
Great record.
Yes.
Art's always saying like it's one of his favorite records he ever did. But we streamed, I think, like 3 million times by the time the record came out. But when it came out, I think we sold only about 20,000 records.
Wow.
Which is like zero.
Right.
He sold that back in the day, in a day.
Yeah.
And it's just nobody buys records.
Right.
Nobody buys records.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know if it's something that, if you can even adapt to it enough to make money, but there's interesting parts. It's like we've talked to these cats, Sharp Star, they're a band out of like Paducah, Kentucky. And we were like, so what was and we're older guys too. I mean, we're like 45. How old are you, man?
Yeah. I'm 55.
Yeah. So we're like,
I'm 48.
48. So we're talking to them. We're like, so what was the scene like? Because they come out of like Paducah, Kentucky, and I mean, you wouldn't know it by the sound. No slight to Paducah.
Yeah.
But but then they were like, we don't know. We never really played the scene. we went straight online.
Yeah,
we went straight to the internet.
I believe it.
And then like we have fans all over the world, but they're we don't have a scene. We don't play. And it's like some of that's kind of sad. That it's like, oh,
it is.
The scene was such a fun place.
Yeah. I can't say the XE. I mean, obviously, Everclear was already happening when I got in it, but with the XEs, we're based out of LA, and we were kind of in the scene, but we were always more concerned about staying home and writing songs and rehearsing and getting better.
Yeah.
And the guys, and then there's the scene where it's basically just going out, hanging out and seeing other bands. But man, I'll tell you, I was so disappointed when I first moved out to Hollywood because I was like so excited. I was like, I'm going to go see bands every night and it's going to be great. And I'm going to meet all this. And so many of the bands were just not good.
Yeah.
Not good. And it burned you out. Yeah. It burned you out. It burned me out. But I think, I don't know if it was always like that because, like I said, I wasn't out here until 90. So I don't know what it was like in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there was more of a scene.
It probably wasn't quite the Motley Crue movie, but it was probably close.
Yeah. Oh, I can remember even before I moved out here when I was playing in other bands and we would hang out in the Sunset Strip.
Oh, yeah.
Getting flyers from like Duff and Axl and all the guys from all those bands that actually did stuff, and a lot more guys than not that didn't.
Right.
And I saw a lot of great bands that I thought were huge, and they never got the lucky break. It's like music is a weird thing. I mean, you have to be. There's no doubt about it. You have to be good at your instrument and writing songs. But I swear, so much of it is luck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's our experience that we've found too.
Yes.
We talk to amazing artists all the time, and a lot of them most people haven't heard of, right? But we have, and we recognize them as really phenomenal artists.
Yeah, sure.
This is kind of our small way. We try and mix it up a little bit. Some more known, some less known. But it's just about good music. If we can get somebody that we appreciate on, it doesn't matter what level you're at to us.
Yeah, and that's great of you guys, man. I think that's a killer attitude to have because I mean, when it comes down to it, music is so subjective. There's things that I love that people don't like, and it goes the other way too. There's some things that everybody likes, and I'm just like, it's all right. And that's the beauty about music. There's no such thing as bad music. It's just what you like.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
It's just what you like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, too. It's funny. We were talking to a band yesterday and talking to the Many Colored Death in studio, and they were talking about doing this like these music competitions that they run for like a local festival that goes out of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you win the competition, you go here, and it's like, I never really got around to the question, but it's like it's so weird to me for like Battle of the Bands type things.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you judging? These things can be totally different. They can be totally
Yeah. It's a weird thing. It's basically what not to be such a downer, but mostly it's like whoever brings in the most people,
right?
Because they're going to sell the most tickets.
Right. Who gets people to scream the loudest?
Yep.
Exactly.
But it's not like weightlifting, where it's like, well, you got 5 more pounds than this guy, so it's you're better.
Exactly.
It's so subjective. It's just so weird that people do that still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's always trips me out when people do a hard like, oh, this band sucks. I'm like, no, they don't. You just don't get it. You don't get what they're doing. It's not that they suck. Yeah. Nobody sucks.
I like to think. Well, I mean, I guess you can. I mean, there's a possibility that you cannot play, I guess. But if so, you're probably not bothering to record either.
Yeah, it's true.
I can barely play a guitar, but I play it at my living room, so I don't have a record deal.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's a bummer because music is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to bring enjoyment, and people turn it into this competition, and it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck, the popularity and things like that. But
yeah.
Or the people that get so easily offended by, oh, my band sold out. You know, that bullshit. You know, they got paid. Oh, no.
Yeah,
musicians that you really enjoy are actually making some money and surviving. What assholes.
Yeah, exactly. While they're sharing all their music files, and they're pissed that the band is making money.
So they can keep making because they're making money, so you can hear more. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that?
Exactly.
Yeah, I never had a problem with that. And I mean, yeah, to some degree, it's like even there's some forms of pop music that I say, well, you know, the root of pop is popular.
Yeah, man.
And sometimes it's popular for the wrong reason, but other times it's popular because sometimes it's good.
Yeah,
sometimes it's catchy. It's hooky.
Yeah.
You like it.
Yeah,
so
man.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Now I hear stuff on the pop stations that I think is really good.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I don't get.
Right.
But I don't ever care if I hear it again. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with being out to the masses. Right. I think anybody that says that they don't care if their music gets heard by other people is actually lying.
Yes.
Everybody does whatever creative thing because they want to share it with people.
Right.
I don't necessarily mean that they're going out of their way just to sell it or whatever, but you do art to share with people.
Absolutely.
What you're doing there is guarding your own emotions. You're saying, well, you're wrapping some armor around yourself that, like, if people don't listen, well, I'm not affected then.
Exactly.
Take it or leave it. Yeah.
You're scared.
Yep.
You're scared.
And that's not to say you can't kind of have another attitude like, okay, well, maybe that's not for them.
Yeah.
Right. But I still know it's good.
Yeah, man. You should, anybody that puts anything out, man, they should be proud of it. It happens more now than it ever has, but it's still a beautiful thing. I mean, you make some music or paint a painting or anything artistic, and that stuff's around for a long time, usually forever.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an amazing thing when you think about us being our time here.
Yeah.
You can leave something that people can hear for years and years. It's incredible.
That is, really I used to, I worked in radio kind of early on in my career, not like a long-standing job, but I really loved it. But something I used to think about was like learning in school, like that radio waves just keep going in space.
Yeah.
So I really like the thought that one day long after I am gone, my voice will still be traveling out into infinity.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, that's a cool thing, man. That's very cool. I always thought that, and I always get excited whenever I get to record because you never know when the last time's going to be, or anything. You don't know when the last time of anything is. So enjoy it, but something that can, it's going to last for a while. That's exciting.
Right.
That's exciting.
What was it like, speaking of that, just kind of going that transition from the X's to being an Everclear?
Yeah. It was a trip. It was a trip. That's for sure. I mean, getting treated at a different level.
Right.
And Art's not a guy to flaunt that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So he was good. Just kind of like stayed back a little and watched him. A lot of people don't realize how much you can learn by not saying anything and just observing.
Oh, I hear you.
Everybody goes in there with guns blazing and not listening to anybody, but take a step back and listen and watch, and you can learn a lot. I mean, it was great, and I love, I got to admit, one of the big perks of doing this is being able to fly, in the first class and the comfort pluses and stuff. And that was probably the biggest thing, how you travel.
Yeah.
It's really good. And, playing for the crowds. And it was a trip. It took me about a year of playing, and I'd be playing and we'd play a song like Father of Mine and seeing people actually like crying in the audience. It affects them so heavily, and Art has written many songs that have affected people so deeply that it brings them to tears.
Mm-hmm.
And that's weird when you're playing a rock band and you're jumping around and stuff and you're seeing somebody crying, but it makes you think. It's like, wow, that's another great thing about music. How and I still to this day, people come up, thank you, man, you saved my life. You saved my life. When you're a kid and you don't have anybody, and your parents, you don't get along with your parents and stuff, and you go in and just put on this record and lose yourself in it.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure it saved a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, the song Santa Monica in particular.
Yeah,
I have a deep connection with that one. It's just like, because it's that, it's that song. It's like, someday we're gonna make it, baby. Someday we're gonna get there.
Yeah,
and it's that speaks to a lot of people. But I think the funny thing is about that song is I don't know how many times that it's in my subconscious that like I'll wake up from sleeping on, and the first thing that runs through my head is, I am still living with your,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Embedded that's so deeply.
Yeah,
he's really good at
that's
that.
A heavy line.
That is.
Yeah, it's a heavy line. It's a heavy line.
Yeah, he's very good at that.
Yeah,
tapping into that real visceral part of
yeah.
He's not afraid to say those things that a lot of people are.
Right.
He's not afraid to put those down and sing it.
And to do it, and it takes a real talent to say it in a way that really just punches you, and it is still in your language. Right? Sometimes I can kind of get fancy and flowery and right, and that's not how you really connect to people in my mind.
Yeah, no. You got to make it easy for people.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's definitely he's more storyteller than anything to me.
Yeah,
to me, he really is. And a lot of his songs are autobiographical, but a lot of them aren't, and he won't even tell me which ones aren't. But that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah. But you do get the impression Art's been through some shit in his life, right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't even have to like know his story. Just listen to those songs, and you're like, that dude's been through something.
Oh yeah. And you find and people find kindred spirits in that. You're like, this guy has really done this stuff, or in some way, or been around somebody that's done it, or and people like that. People like sharing experiences.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good or bad. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes the bad ones even work more than the good ones. Because a lot of people don't. It's almost taboo to talk about bad things out into just the everyday guy, somebody you meet on the corner. You don't get into like the heavy stuff right off the bat. Right. Takes you years before you do that.
Yeah.
No, but then again, if you do it right off the bat, that, honestly, somebody that does that with me, I think they're probably a little disturbed and maybe they need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
If they just go straight into it with me.
Yeah. It's just like, whoa, dude.
It is kind of funny how we do that societally, though. Like, it's like, we ask people we don't know at all. We walk in by, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
And it's like, do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Because how would you?
That's a damn good point.
I really hate answering good or okay when I'm not okay.
Yeah. Oh, I've done it a million times.
I hate it
all the time.
Yeah.
Just fine.
Yeah. It's
thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for that's like the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
But you also can, at some point you start to figure out who's asking out of formality and who actually gives a shit.
Right.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
That's why my favorite is Not Too Bad. How you doing today? Not too bad.
Yeah.
Right.
It could always be worse.
Could be worse. Yeah. Always.
I've got my generic is I'm here.
That almost sounds like save me.
Yeah, you're here. That's
help.
Yeah. Let's try. Yeah. It's a good day. Any day that you wake up, but still, it doesn't mean that every.
Oh yeah.
And it's weird. The older I get, the more I figure out, like, man, things happen. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, you get mad or whatever.
Sure.
Or somebody's rude to you, and it's like, but you don't really know what's going on with that person. They could have just lost a parent. You don't know. And everybody's done. And I know the times when I've been crappy to other people, it's because something's going on with me, not really towards them. Being a little short with somebody,
right?
And to be able to say that, to bring it all the way around, like how Art does it, that's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool.
We don't know how much what we say to people affects them, and vice versa. And we all have an impact on each other, whether we recognize it or not. And we don't want to, we want to feel the power of lifting somebody else, but we don't want to take responsibility when we put somebody down and put them in a bad place.
100%.
You know, and how many of us like carry ghosts from being on the playground in kindergarten and someone called us ugly, right? And we're still carrying it.
Oh yeah, I've got a couple of those.
Right, and we're giving credibility to a fucking 5-year-old, right? Who didn't know shit, who probably heard that themselves from somebody else.
Oh yeah,
right.
But and then things happen in our lives. Oh, they were right in kindergarten, right? And we'll use those memories to just bring ourselves down. And when the reality is that 5-year-old was full of shit, they didn't know what they were talking about. And I've carried it for all these years.
Yeah, exactly.
And I made myself miserable.
Yeah.
Or just talking out there. I mean, they didn't think about what they said as much as you thought about it. Or it's like, it's kind of like, I hate those wine mom quotes and things that are on Facebook, but it's like, I did see one the other day that was just like, why would you take, or why do you take ridicule from somebody you would never take advice from?
Wow, that's great. That's great. I like that.
Yeah, I did too. It's like, I'm not typically into those inspirational poster type quotes,
Yeah.
I think things are a little more complicated than that, but I was like, that one's like, oh, wow, I think I do that a lot. Like, I take criticism from people that I would never take advice from. But tell me, you need to invest in that. No, I don't. Or you need to do. No, I don't. But then when they criticize me, it's like it's an arrow in the heart. And it's like, wow, why don't I do that? That's strange,
right?
That's very cool.
We do that. Yeah. And realizing we've done that to other people and we probably don't even remember it. Right? Yeah. There's probably someone out there that I said something really shitty to, 30 years ago that I would sincerely apologize for if I knew who or what the situation was. But there's a good chance they're still carrying that. And to whoever you are, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
We're sorry. We're all sorry.
I was wrong.
Freddy's sorry.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, man. It's just like, and a lot of those feelings of, regret and everything. It's like, gotta let them go, man. You gotta live in the now.
Right.
Same
with
now.
grudges.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Oh,
it's another one.
It's easy to say. I'm pretty bad about that. I know
it's hard.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes about grudges is carrying a grudge is like letting someone you hate live in your head rent free.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally true. That's totally true.
Or like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, Matt came up yesterday. We were working on production. Well, he was working on production, and I was mocking how picky he was about everything. But till like late in the night, it's like, but that whole getting out of your own way, I think is really important.
Oh yeah,
and that's something I've heard that as a cliche a lot. Speaking of cliches and making them work for you. Yeah. But I've heard that one a million times. Like, get out of your own way. Get out. But it does make sense. There's so much of the things that you fight with and everything else are all just obstacles you created. And
well, yeah. Well, nobody wants to get hurt.
Hey, though, it's easy to say. It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm Tony Robbins or anything.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's a defense mechanism, so you don't get disappointed.
Right.
Yep.
That's just it.
So we want to thank everybody to come and checking out our TED Talks.
Yes.
Here tonight.
We actually have a friend that's done a TED Talk.
Yeah, we do.
Really?
Real.
Well,
that's a big deal.
It is. Well, he was talking about he's the air guitar champion, or was.
Oh wow.
Eric Moline. I don't know if you remember the band Truck Stop Love. From the
sounds familiar. Yeah.
Or the Dead Girls.
Yeah.
Dead Girls. Yeah.
Yep. Dead Girls. Okay. Ultimate Fake Book.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Fake Book. Yeah, I remember those guys.
Yeah, sure. Eric. He's a cool cat.
Is he the actual? He was actually.
He is. Yeah, he was the. And he was drummer, but air guitar champion.
Wow.
Yeah, went over to the competition in the Netherlands, won it. Everything else, Mean.
Wow.
They call him. He did a TED talk on that. On winning air guitar champions.
He reverse engineered his routine.
It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
He took what the audience is looking for and what I want to deliver to them and how do I want to best do that and put it all together based on
that's killer.
What he knew worked for him, and he made his own. He recorded his own song with a friend that he used for the routine. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
Interesting story.
That's great.
We'll send you a link to that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I would love to hear that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. His name is spelled like Melin, so it's Moline. That's how it's pronounced. But so he went with Mean Moline, and he was like, "Well, finally, nobody will mispronounce my name." And then he got up on stage and then was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mean Melon."
Never fails.
Yep.
Never fails, man. Yeah. Yep. All the time. Man.
So what else is going on? Anything going on in the studio as far as recording? I know you just got off a leg of a tour. You said you were on the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, this year, Art just finished up. Well, not just finished. I think it came out in November. He did a solo record. So I went out on the road with him to help out, tour manage and tech a little bit for that starting in November. And we have a couple more. He's playing the Viper Room on Thursday, and then Vegas, and then we do an Everclear gig on the 26th, I believe, or 25th in Oklahoma.
Right on.
And we fly home for about 30 hours, and then we fly to Australia for about a month tour.
Man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. They're
having a tough time down there.
I know. Thank God it's raining.
Yeah,
that's helping a lot.
Helping. Yeah,
it's helping a lot.
I think they had a big benefit concert down there. Was it this weekend?
No, I think it's coming up.
Well, one of our guests is Hamish Cohen from Quarterzine. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh no. Oh, maybe it was this weekend.
Hamish, really good stand-up cat too. He's doing a big promo that down there too to benefit a lot of different organizations, and
that's so.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, you've got a lot of Aussie fans. We've got a few Aussie fans in there. Really,
that's great.
Really excited about you coming on.
Yeah. I really enjoy going over there. This I think will be the fourth time that I've been there with the band, and we're really looking forward. Usually it's like 10 days, like one day off, 10 shows, and we're back home.
That travel
is that's brutal.
Intense.
Yeah. It's a trip. But then we come back from there, and then I think it's end of May. We're going to do one-offs all the way up until May. And then it's the 20th anniversary of his fourth record, I believe, Songs from American Movie, Volume 1. And we're gonna do the whole record.
Oh, sweet.
Which I got to start. I got to start practicing. Yeah,
I love.
Which I got to start practicing those songs as soon as I get done here. Got to start learning them.
Sweet. Yeah, I love those shows. Anything it's like, we dedicate or we do this whole album in its entirety and stuff like that. I don't know. I know bands are hesitant about that. I don't know. Speaking for myself as a fan, do those. We love them.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think
I do.
I know. I've always thought it was a great thing. I've never went and saw. If I could go see anybody, I would love to seen Cheap Trick do those first three records in their entirety.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. But yeah, I think it would be amazing, especially for nobody ever usually plays every song from a record they put out.
Right. So rare.
So
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Well, some songs are harder to recreate.
Cheap Trick was our local band where I grew up. Yeah.
Oh, were they?
They're from Rockford, Illinois, which was just like just about half an hour away from where I lived. So they were kind of like our local curiosity. You could like drive by their house and see like, Robin like mowing his lawn. There he is.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
so they always played like the local, and it was cool because even like when they topped out on the charts and stuff, and they were getting hot, and even that resurgence in the '80s, like when they had the Flame and stuff like that on TV, they'd still play like the local, like the fairgrounds, like every year.
That's great.
Around there, it is.
They're smart, man.
Kill. I mean, they'd bring in tons of people, sell tons of tickets.
Keep your roots.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they sold tons of merch too.
Oh yeah.
That's
one of my first concerts was Cheap Trick Show, of course. It's right passage up there in Illinois. It's like being a Bears fan; you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So
anything studio wise though? Are you guys working on a record or anything like that? Or?
No. Art was talking about. He got that acoustic solo record out of the way, and he's itching to do some heavy rock. So who knows what's coming down the pike? But hopefully soon.
Yeah, you got to tour and support. You got to do that too.
Oh, we always do, dude.
Any artists that you're coming across these days that are worth shouting out, letting us know about? You're always on the look for something worth checking out.
I got to listen to it again, but I was very excited to hear that Highly Suspect record.
Yeah.
But then when I heard it, I was like, it was so not guitar based.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to listen to it again because I really am pulling for those guys. I think they're really good. But as far as other new stuff, it seems lately my new stuff has been going backwards and finding the bands that I missed, like in the 2000s. Like Art just turned me on to a band called Middle Brother, and they're like a super group from a guy from Deer Tick, and a couple other bands. They're great, but even that record came out in like 2011.
God, that long ago? Gee.
Yeah, that long ago. Crazy. But I'm always looking. How about you guys? You guys got anything new that you're listening to?
Oh man, we're always checking out stuff. It seems like.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're into. I would check out Tony Willis of Forbidden Place Records. He's got out of Denver lots of good stuff. Kind of a lot of like doom stuff and like stone rock. And Black Site Records is really good out of Kansas City, out of the Midwest here.
Yeah.
They're really cool in that they're good with like working with up and coming artists, people that don't have a lot, and try and getting them just like record deals, or even if they can't afford to make a record, they'll help them make cassettes, right? And they'll like donations to help them put together their tapes and they'll, help you find the best deal on putting a record together yourself. And they don't like make all the artists keep the rights to their music. It's really cool.
That's amazing. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. It's amazing. Good for them. Good for them.
Jason Cropper, who was like the original guitar player for Weezer.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Do you remember the band Paw?
Paw. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Paw.
Yeah. So Mark Hennessy is one of our buds, and he has got a new band together called Godzillionaire. They're really, really good.
I got to check that out. I love the name. I love the name of the band.
So good.
That's great. I love that. Well, cool, man. That's definitely a good list to start with.
We'll send you a copy of the podcast.
Yeah, we'll send you a list. We got lots of stuff.
Yeah.
That's been a nice thing about doing this show is we get exposed to a lot more of that. And people
sure.
It's like we talked about the algorithm and we talked about Facebook, and it's one thing about a machine making a recommendation.
Yeah.
This has been one way where since we don't go to the record store anymore because they're not there.
Yeah, they're not there.
People saying, check this out, check these guys out, we all exchange that stuff, and it's been so good. I've been exposed to so much good music since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good for the soul, man, to know that there's kids out there doing music. That's great.
And right now I'm like guilty that I haven't listed off like 5 other artists, because
you'll remember right after we get off the phone. You'll remember all of them.
I will drop. I will drop one more name. Thank you, Chris Lowry. Chris hooked us up. I know he'd be remiss if he didn't hear his name because he's been like, you need to get Freddy on the podcast. He's a awesome guy.
Like,
He hooked us up. He is a good guy.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, and thank you, Freddy. Thanks for being on, man. We really appreciate it. We want to chew up your whole night. So I had a good time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on. Having me on. It was great. A lot of fun.
All right, everybody. You've been listening to Undetermined the podcast. I'm Freddy Herrera. Thanks for tuning in and listening. We appreciate it. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
See you.